Hey everybody, this is TJR. Star Wars: The Last Jedi came out on Blu-ray last week, and I'm finally getting a chance to finish up all the bonus features and watch the film for a second time. You know, back when The Phantom Menace came out on DVD, there was this hour-long documentary on the 2-disc version that was basically a documentary piece chronicling the making of the film from beginning to end. And no matter how you might feel about the prequels, I think it's a fascinating piece of documentary work, and I think it's fascinating just to watch no matter how you feel about the film. And I bring this up because I really do believe that even if you are one of those who had a lot of bad feelings about this film, you're going to find the bonus features to be quite interesting to look at. Now, in case you're wondering what I thought of the film back when it came out in theaters, I enjoyed it. Did I think it was a perfect movie? No. Did I have issues with certain aspects of it? Yes. But you know, I didn't think that Return of the Jedi was a perfect movie. I definitely had issues with certain aspects of that film. Did it kill the movie for me? No. Did it destroy the franchise for me? Absolutely not. I know that this film, while critically successful and successful at the box office, there was a lot of really hardcore division among fans. And that's why I'm kind of recommending this for the bonus features mostly, because certainly if you like the movie already, you're going to get this. But I think the bonus features on this particular release were very, very good. I personally love bonus features, but for quite a few years now, I found that a lot of the newer films I bought have had what I would refer to as very anemic bonus features, or very vapid bonus features. They're just basically fluff pieces. Not so here. There is also a feature-length documentary about the making of the motion picture, which I think you can't help but find fascinating, once again, no matter how you feel about the film itself. But in particular, there are a couple of bonus features that I really want to mention. One is just a very short, little 10-minute featurette entitled Balance of the Force. In this short little feature, Rian Johnson gives his take on the Force. He describes the film as an opportunity to do a reset lesson on the Force, and he says especially for all the kids who are just coming into the Star Wars films. I don't want to give away too much, but he talks a lot about Luke Skywalker's motivations, why he made Luke Skywalker be the character that he is in this film. A lot of people were extremely upset with how Luke Skywalker was portrayed. They were upset that he wasn't the badass hero, that instead he was this kind of broken and bitter character. I personally thought it was a daring move. And also, I have this perspective of having been around for a while. When we first meet Luke Skywalker in the original films, he's a very young man, 18, 20 years old, somewhere right around there. I personally am not the same person I was at that age, and thank God. And I have had numerous experiences hooking up with people that I haven't seen in like 40 years. And I have found that people change radically in that time. Some of them change for the better, and some of them, unfortunately, change for the worse. So, to me, it's not unfathomable, unbelievable, that Luke Skywalker could be this completely different person. Once again, I don't want to give away too much, but he talks about his reasoning, his thought process, why he took the character there. He also talks about the confrontation between Yoda and Luke Skywalker, and how in this film, Yoda is basically his voice, telling Luke Skywalker, you need to get your head out of the clouds, be in the here and now, and become the legend of Luke Skywalker that the galaxy needs. I also want to add that doing a reset on what defines the Force is nothing new. And to a certain extent, I think that part of his reasoning for doing this is to kind of undo the reset lesson that George Lucas did back with the prequels. And I'm talking about all this midichlorian stuff, which was something that I did not like about the prequel films. I felt that the whole midichlorians thing really kind of ruined all the mysticism of the Force. And if you are going to pick up this film on Blu-ray or digital HD, where you can get the bonus features as well, I recommend that you start with this little short first and get kind of this compressed feature about where he philosophically was coming from with this film. Because then as you watch the documentary, the director's commentary, the deleted scenes, which I will get to in a moment, and the other features, you're going to hear him keep coming back to how he feels philosophically about this film, what his actual vision and take was. And I bring this up repeatedly because in so many of the criticisms from people who really dislike the film, they are more attacking what they believe he was trying to do with the film versus what he was actually trying to do. And so you may not agree with where he was coming from, but at least now, if you're going to argue the film, you can argue against what he actually intended versus what you think he intended. Another feature that I want to talk about that really surprised me was the deleted scenes. Now, I love watching deleted scenes, but usually after I'm done watching them, I say, well, that was fun, but I can see why that didn't make the final cut. What was really intriguing about watching the deleted scenes on this particular release is just how many amazing character beats, unfortunately, had to be cut out. In his introduction to the deleted scenes, Rian Johnson says that the original film was a lot longer than it already was, and that he just had to cut things out for time and just had to live with the fact that, oh well, I'm going to at least get to see these in the deleted scenes section on the Blu-ray release. One particular deleted scene that I do want to bring up is entitled Phasma Squeals Like a Whoop Hog. This is actually an alternate version of the final confrontation scene between Finn and Captain Phasma. In this version, Finn calls out Phasma in front of her troops and says that when he held the gun at her head, she squealed like a whoop hog, and that she was responsible for shutting down the security at the Starkiller base. She responds with, well, who would believe such a ridiculous story, even though it's true, of course, but she wants to save face in front of her troops. And there's this moment where the troops kind of look at her, they look at Finn, they look at each other, and they're wondering. They're really wondering, hey, maybe our boss did do that. What follows is a much better version than what they used, and I'm really sorry that they didn't go with this version. This was a far more dramatic and far more effective way of playing that scene. There is one deleted scene that I'm really glad they did keep out. This is an extended version of the sequence where Finn, Rose, and the Codebreaker are sneaking aboard the one ship that is Snoke's, destroyer ship. And while this scene does give a better sense of how scary it must have been for them to be sneaking around doing this, there's a bit of comedy at the end of it that is completely out of character for Star Wars. I'm really glad that scene didn't make it into the final cut. There is also, of course, director's commentary on these deleted scenes too, as well, which help provide, once again, more insight. Overall, I don't want to say too much more, but overall, I just think these bonus features were excellent. I really felt like I got a lot more insight into the film and got a lot more appreciation, even for the Vegas planet scene, which I know even the most positive of critics of the film seem to feel was kind of the low point in the film. On the second viewing, that whole sequence definitely played better for me, but also getting more perspective from the director's point of view has helped me to just better understand what he was going for with it as well. I have to admit, after seeing the film in the theaters, I was really taken aback by some of the, not just negative reaction, but violently negative reaction. I understand if you don't like a film. I don't like everything I see. Sometimes I like certain aspects, don't like other aspects. But, we're going to get a lot of Star Wars movies in the future. Disney's going to make a new chapter every other year, and we're going to get standalone movies in between. We're going to get a lot of different people working on these films. We're going to get different directors are going to come and go. And we're going to have different voices and different visions about where they're coming from with Star Wars. At some point, I think we all kind of have to let go a little bit and stop being so worried that it's not how we thought it should be. Once again, I understand valid criticisms about story structure and such, but I have been hearing some of the most ridiculous stuff in regards to this film, like Rian Johnson was jealous of J.J. Abrams and wanted to destroy everything he set up, or that there's some kind of feminist agenda going on here. nonsense, utter nonsense. Maybe someday I'll make a video that talks about those. Of course, there are already a lot of other videos that do talk about that nonsense, and maybe I'll leave some links for that, or at least leave some links for some film from some videos you should probably watch whether you like the film or not. But what I'm trying to say is that there is going to be a lot of Star Wars films. We are going to have a lot of directors going in and out, trying different things with it. You're not going to like everything, but you're probably going to like some of it at the very least. You know, I love Star Trek, the original series. Some of the episodes were really great, and some of them were really lousy. I take the good with the bad when it comes to Star Trek. So what did you think? Have you watched any of this? Are you going to? Curious to know what your comments are. As always, keep your comments respectful. I know that this particular film and this particular genre tends to sometimes bring out the very worst and the very childish in some people. And I'll tell you right now, if you're going to respond with childish, whiny, crybaby, fanboy comments, I'm just going to ignore you. And I would encourage everybody on YouTube to ignore those type of comments too. But if you talk like an adult, certainly I want to hear what you have to say, and will do my best to respond as always. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.